Yes, my peoples, it's T, and I'm back for Apprentice episode 3 reaction. Let's get it. All right, so this week we have an immersive task, which is a virtual escape room. And the guy started off by heading to the entertainment complex in London to be briefed on what the task is about. So actually, I have a little clip for that as well. So let me get straight into it.
Just for your task this week, you'll be entering the world of virtual escape rooms, a market predicted to be worth
$7
billion by
billion.
2028.
That's crazy. That is, for me, that is crazy. I don't understand why. Like virtual, like I get in-person escape room, but virtual ones, interesting. But anyway, so they need to design a playable game, a playable demo, sorry, and then pitch to investors. And the team that obviously gets the most investment is the team that wins. But this week, as expected and as predicted by one of the commenters last week, the teams have been mixed up, which, to be fair, in my opinion, is a benefit to the men's, because the men's were absolutely shocking for the last couple of weeks. So let's see what the teams are looking like now.
Have lost the last two tasks. Lord Sugar has decided to mix the teams up. So Trey, Paul and Steve, would you please move over to the ladies team?
And from the girls, Maura, Amina, Onyeka and Sam, please move over to the boys.
Honestly, that don't sound like a good team. That don't sound like a good team to me, but fair enough. Then the next task and challenge for them was to decide who would be the PMs for this week. Of course, we already know that Asif is going to be the PM for one of the teams this week, as he nearly got fired last week. So we'll see how that goes. And then this week, I believed it was between, I think Flo and Paul were fighting to be PM for the other team. So let's, again, I got a little clip for that.
Is anyone interested in being project manager?
So I'd like to put myself forward for project manager. You know, I'm very creative. I've played a few games in my time as well.
I too would like to put myself
Flo's putting herself forward.
5 years experience pitching to investors. Alongside that, I've played
And in the end,
I've done a few escape
everybody
rooms, and I do have a very clear
voted.
vision for this as well.
Ultimately, this task is down to how much investment we get from the investors.
Indeed. So based on the vote, nobody rated Paul's thing. So everybody ended up choosing Flo, which, to be fair, based on her performance last week, I guess she does deserve it, because she did perform very well last week. So it does make sense. And then obviously Asif was PM for the other team. And then it was onto choosing team names, to be fair. It was onto choosing team names. Actually, let's see what this clip is about.
So my idea was...
So this is straight into the ideas. Before we can get to the ideas, let's touch on what happened before that. So essentially, Asif team chose Team Supreme, which was Jack's idea. You know what's funny? Jack actually reminds me of a Jack that I know in real life. They look very similar. But anyway, Supreme team, and the other team was called Nexus. And it's interesting because I believe that both names are not great, to be fair, but you know, let's keep it going. So let's see what the ideas are.
Medieval setting, and the objective is to collect lots of different items to create a potion to stop the Black Plague spreading through that town. On branding, I think we should be looking at sort of like stone, sort of
honestly,
golds, browns,
medieval,
sort of really like
escape room,
medieval as we see it.
Overdone, in my opinion, overdone.
It seems to be very tunnel vision, but it is a collaborative venture.
Yeah, very, very overdone. And in my opinion, the way I had edited that section, they made it look like Flo was just talking and taking control of the entire concept and not really taking any sounding board from anyone else in the squad team. But hey, let's see how it goes in the end. Also, actually, before we even get to my next point, let's watch this clip.
I personally think that there's been enough ideas put out there. I think we need to...
Yeah.
So on to Active Team's ideas.
Landing on a desert island, needing to overcome various obstacles. That's the concept. Everyone happy with that?
Yeah.
Yeah, so long story short, there was a big discussion around many ideas, many poor ideas in my opinion. And then in the end, that was the brief that Asif gave. I don't think that was a proper brief, but let's see how it goes for the rest of the episode. Also, does Amina speak? Like, can somebody tell me, like, what does her voice sound like? I want to hear her voice, because she's just there, looking pretty, but just nothing else. So interesting. Anyway, next one is let's just play the clip.
Then on the branding side, Lucia, doing that.
So I've got a business myself, so I've got a lot of knowledge when it comes to branding.
I think I'd like to be in the branding space, I think.
Yeah.
Fonts, etc.
Looking at fonts.
Branding as well, just
Looking
to
at fonts.
experience
What?
with the computing game. I'm happy to sub-team lead, as I appreciate we work really
Honestly, I'm gonna be honest. I'm not a big fan of this. Everybody here wanted to be on the branding team. Everybody and their dog wanted to be on the branding team. And what was Trey? What was Trey looking at fonts and stuff like? Huh? That's not branding's looking. I know fonts are included, but come on, is that all? That the only contribution that you have towards the branding team? Yeah, interesting. But
So yeah, you're heading up the branding team as sub-team leader, and then
let's watch the rest of this clip.
Raj and Lucia, doing that. Yeah.
I want to be in branding.
This
I
is
know that
hilarious.
5 people want to be in branding, so unfortunately, I can't have 5 people in branding.
This was hilarious. look at her reaction. Oh, okay.
I'm a very creative person, so obviously I feel like I'm in the wrong team. So
Yeah, honestly, no probably should have fought her corner more there, but she was ignored. To be fair, she's being ignored quite a lot in this particular episode. But yeah, honestly, going back a little bit, Asif's team's concept was very confusing. There was that literally, I don't know what they agreed on in the end. Flo's team, they had a more clearer concept, but yeah, let's see how that goes as we carry on throughout the episode. But there was a very, very cheesy line here. Look at this. Let's look at this cheesy line.
Easy, but not too hard.
Yeah,
So it's about finding that balance.
And when in doubt, guys, go with the flow.
go with the
Wow. That's so good. Oh, jeez. Actually, let's leave this on the screen. Let's leave it on the screen. So, essentially, yeah, I want to see more from a few more people, because right now I'm not sure if it's editing or what, but some people are just going MIA again. This is another one. Amina, where's she at though? Like, she's there. I see her, but I don't see her say a word. To me, so far, she looks like she's absolutely useless, but we shall see. But anyway, they moved on to Cherry Duck Studios to discuss what their concept will be about. So let's watch this.
Last survivors?
Last survivors.
Escape from countryside?
Great name.
No, that sounds like a TV show. Survival of the creatures or something. Survival.
Wow.
What about Survivor Island?
That sounds like a TV show.
Awful. Absolutely awful. Honestly, awful. In my opinion, Asif, awful. Verdi, awful. Verdi for me has been terrible since day one. At least he actually speaks and says something, unlike Amina, for example. But Asif, awful. Verdi, wow. Suggestions are poor. In the end, I think Amina did say something, and she did suggest Fall and Escape, which for me, I'm not too sure about that. But anyway, let's move on to the next team's idea, which is Nexus. Let's look at their medieval designs.
Do you mind if I just put in, because I've got a very clear idea on how this would look.
Yeah.
Let's just have a look at that. So the bottom of the word die is red. Yeah. Can you try that out, please?
Yeah.
So in my opinion, I think they really should have listened to Felicia.
Actually, I've got to agree with you. Maybe put a little bit of gradient
One
into
second,
it.
let's
It's a good idea.
Think about this. I think it looks nice.
My only concern with what we've got so far, I think it's
Yes.
quite dull. Should we look at icons?
Yeah, I agree. Very dull. Very dull. So in my opinion, I think they should have listened to Felicia in terms of making the icon or making the logo, a little more exciting. It's a little. I know sometimes stripped back and simple is good, but for me it was a little bit too basic. And I think having the icon, because they're meant to get potions, yeah, to escape whatever they're escaping. Having the icon like the eye as a potion, logo, that would have been good, to be fair, but they just vetoed that and just ignored Felicia. But fair enough. And honestly, let's go on to the other team's brief.
Okay, yeah, that's nice.
I want him to go grayer.
Why are you making them less attractive then?
40-year-olds have greys.
I'm nearly 50, I haven't got grey.
Go with the grey, please.
That was funny. That was funny. Man said he's nearly 50. I ain't got grades. What's wrong with grades? Listen, some women and people love the silver fox look. But it doesn't make you less attractive if you have a few grades out there. That's my opinion anyway. But who am I to speak? But yeah, Trey as the character was for me jokes. And then going back to the branding, I touched on obviously the medieval one, but the Fallen Escape one, their design looked terrible. It actually looked like a looked like the Channel Tunnel logo, which is interesting if anybody knows that in the UK. But yeah, as we go on, let's see what happens next.
I'm thinking of something of the lines of starting like, sometimes life puts you in situations where you've fallen and you can't get out. But remember, there's always a way.
This was so cringe. Oh my days. And honestly, I still haven't heard Amina speak once. I'm gonna keep saying this in this whole reaction. I haven't heard her speak the whole episode. I'm like halfway through. But that Verdi for me, every time I hear him speak, is cringe. I'm sick of seeing his confused face, and I'm sick of seeing him trying to act like he's like some cool guy. It doesn't come off well for me personally, anyway. So yeah, I don't know why they all like cheered for that as well. They like that little spiel, but maybe it's just me. Anyway, let's carry on with the viewing.
The table in the throne room.
I've got something to tell you. Just when I'm playing a game, I like it to be fun. Do you have time to add like extra
Exactly
stuff like goals?
No.
Exactly. Straight up no. Just no. Just straight up no. Listen, honestly, in my opinion, Noor had some absolutely brilliant ideas throughout the whole episode. She was, to me, she weren't really doing much, but she was saying stuff and she was being ignored, and she was on point, because the game for me is looking super dry, but completely ignored. And I guess with time in mind, I understand, but yeah, I'm not sure what going around there. But anyway, let's watch this next clip as well, because this is about the Ever Team's game as well. To be fair, the Ever Team's game also looks very, 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 very plain. I do wonder how this will all come out in the end. But let's have a look at Verdi's directing.
Sometimes in life, you fall.
It's your time. It's your moment.
Yeah.
So this is all Verdi.
Sometimes in life.
Asif is here, looking confused. Asif here is here looking confused. Again, Amina hasn't said a word in this episode, so don't know what's going on there. But yeah, honestly, Noor just keeps giving great ideas, and wasn't listened to at all. But I do like the intros for Flo's teams, not so much Asif's. But yeah, let's watch another clip.
It's just very basic.
Very basic.
Is it just basic, or is there anything else you want? Could you have added anything else?
Exactly.
I don't know.
So Flo did like the branding, but Noor was right. It was very basic. It was very basic. I can't do this Scouse accent, but it was very basic. So I agree. All episode, Noor was absolutely on point. Anyway, so also Asif's team was very poor in just all round. Like the game doesn't actually relate to the intro at all. And then he didn't, let's just go into it.
I don't want to know too much that's happening.
But I feel like she's sending out her soldier into this desert
Dead.
island.
This is not a battlefield game. This
Dead.
is a state game. The battle is against yourself or Sergeant Cody.
Dead. And you know what's mad? He didn't even set a sub team leader for this section of the task. So they had to just guess their own team leader, and then he called him afterwards. And
Want Phil to sub team lead? That's absolutely fine.
Please, yes.
Appreciate the call, cheers.
Well, the pressure's on you now, Phil.
Hey, you know what's funny about that clip? that was real and raw there from Sam. But she closed the phone thinking that will end the call. It didn't. I love that. Anyway, let's go on to the pictures. So obviously they got some feedback from the public on their demos. All the feedback basically said it looked basic, it looked cheap, it didn't make sense. Very poor feedback as expected. Very confusing aspects from both of them. But when they went into the pictures to the CEOs and the top level dons from this world, They got schooled. So let's first of all, Flo fumbled a little bit, but there's a very pertinent question asked by one of the CEOs. Let's watch this question.
Tom, I'm the CEO at Little Lion. What's the sense of fun with this? What's the sense of engagement? What's that sense of joy and conviviality? Which is
exactly? It's a valid question. It's about like, where's the fun? And guess who mentioned that quite a few times? Everybody. Well, to be fair, in this team, I don't think this team actually mentioned fun that much, to be fair. But either way, Asif team, poor, and Flo was fighting for her life on that stage. Flo was fighting for her life. She was struggling on that stage.
You do see that was crazy, right?
And this clip, you know, actually, I'm gonna pause it for a second. This clip, oh my days, Asif completely annoyed me here. Just based off this alone, Asif needs to go home. Just based off this alone, how it's so silly. Like the CEOs and the people there, he literally spelled it out. He said, if this game's meant to be this silly, I'm all in. If it's meant to be serious, then I'm out. You missed the mark. And this guy listened to that and went against it and said, no, it's meant to be serious. Are you dumb? Are you dumb? Wow. It's not meant to be surreal. Wow. Watch this clip, people. This is mad. Get him out.
If it's surreal and it's supposed to be, great, I'm in. If it's not, then it's chaos.
Yes, it's surreal. Just
go on, say surreal.
It's not meant to be surreal, it's meant to be realistic.
Meant to be realistic, yeah? No, pause this. It's meant to be realistic, yeah? A game with bears in the middle of a random field and... Oh, my days.
So these are realistic bears
exactly.
in a war zone, in an escape room.
Honestly, I'm perplexed. Like, even a child would know the right answer there. It's unbelievable. Honestly, every single time I see Asif speak, all I think is, this guy's dumb. Get him out. He is not made for business at all. Terrible. And then move on. This clip here, again, Amina, what is she doing? Hasn't spoken. What's going on? And Verdi.
It'd be quite easy to be.
Another dumb thing from Verdi as well.
I appreciate your point that it's like anticlimactic.
Anticlimactic. How can you mention? You cannot say negative words when you're pitching to a client. You're trying to get money from these people, and you're saying, "Oh yeah. I know it's called fall and escape, but there's no falling. I know it's to be anticlimactic. That's negative. Are you dumb?" Verdi's dumb as well. You're not thinking. Oh my days.
Any more falling? No, it's all about escaping. So do you think it's
waffling now? It's waffling now. It's waffling. Literally. We listen. Verdi and Asif, get them out. Both of them are terrible since day one. Terrible. To be fair, all the men so far have been terrible. No one's made me feel like they have a chance of winning this. Awful. I want to know what their actual ideas are, because this is absolutely shocking. Anyway, moving on. Guess what? Amina finally speaks for the first time, and look what she does.
Also put the E's together. It's a symbolic nature we've done there. In order
Why?
to represent the,
what are you saying?
Direction to the escape.
I mean, it looks like a bit of a deer in headlights. I think she's
deer in her headlights, completely frozen. What are you saying, Amina? First time I see you speak, and you're speaking absolute waffle. Again, she doesn't look like she's really cut out or made for this environment. I'm going to be honest, but yeah, the entire team awful. I do wonder who will win, but based on the two teams, Flo's team really, they've both been poor, but Flo's team should win by default, if I'm being honest. Yeah, so we'll see. Anyway, on to the boardroom. Listen, Phil tried to throw Onyeka under the bus. Listen, let's watch this clip.
I kind of worked out quite quickly that Onyeka had a very clear vision and she wanted to do this herself.
Her way or the highway?
No, it wasn't necessarily that I wanted to do it myself. I think
that's crazy.
The team, in terms of who had more experience or knowledge of playing escape rooms, I was the one that was there. So
honestly,
yes, I let it in.
I'm not too much of a fan of Phil either. I've been saying this for weeks. He's been poor as well, but I don't know what he does. But yeah, hilariously tried to throw. So yeah. Anyway, let's move on to the next clip.
Well, although there were some issues with the game, they liked elements of it.
Let's see the results.
So they decided that they would invest 50,000.
Asif team surprisingly got 50 grand.
Aaron, Nexus.
And the Nexus Flo's team.
They thought medieval as a theme was completely overdone.
It is.
But they liked the narrative.
Mm-hmm.
They loved the character.
Yes.
And on that basis, they did say they would invest
170k. 170k is what they got in the end, which is not surprising, to be fair, that they it's not surprising that they actually did achieve that in the end, because Flo's team was better. The game looked better. It was both poor overall, but it just looked better. It was just a better experience. So Flo won by default, but she shouldn't be too excited because she didn't perform as well this week as she did in the previous week. But to be fair, Asif, and listen, from the moment he was made PM, I knew that he would lose. He is a very poor businessman, a very poor leader. Waffles so much, believes in his own sauce, and the sauce is not saucing. And to be fair, the team members didn't help either. The team members did not help. For Asif anyway, Asif had really poor team. Emina, Ghost, Verdi, a waffler. Even on Flo's team, like Noor, I agree with a lot of things Noor said, and they didn't listen. If they actually listened to her, they would have done better as well. But anyway, let's watch another clip, because let's see who would Asif bring back to the boardroom.
You're good at everything.
Oh.
And one thing I can see is that it looks like I've cured you. Yeah, because you ain't good at this. Your escape was about as
Man, listen, you know what I can't believe? I can't believe that Asif said on his CV he's good at everything. See how much waffle this guy said. He's one of those guys that just thinks highly of himself, and realistically he doesn't actually back it up with any action. Even Alan Sugar just shot him down like, you said you good at everything. Well, I must have killed that because you're terrible at everything. Anyway, who did he bring back? This is shocking.
Are you having me on?
Sam. Why?
Made massive contributions.
Can I change?
Can I change? So indecisive.
Are you indecisive or what?
It's not indecisiveness, it's just...
It must be.
I like Sam's rebuttal. I would like to bring back Amina and Onyeka.
Why is that, sorry?
She's rebassing. What are you going to do?
Oh, Alan Sugar's funny. Yeah, honestly, hilarious. Yeah, all I can say is, Asif guy, I just can't wait for him to go. Is he going this week? Is he going next week? We'll find out in due course. But yeah, I think I don't know. I think the fact that they have Onyeka and Sam brought back in the end, and Amina as well, indecisively, I think the right people are, except for Sam, I think the right people are back on this occasion, but Asif definitely needs to go this week. No one else, in my opinion. And although Amina has been a ghost for the entire series so far, I want to give her a chance, although she doesn't seem like she's ready for this environment at all. But let's watch another clip.
On the brief from Asif, which wasn't even clear.
Well, you weren't ready. 1 minute you're telling me you weren't ready.
Yes.
Next minute you're telling me you was brief.
Did
you brief them?
Absolutely,
Lord
Sugar.
What did you brief them?
I briefed them on the nature of the game.
You didn't have any concept of what you wanted in it. You decided on the logo that
Exactly.
They did not like. You decided
Exactly.
on the host that they did not like. They did not invest in that.
Is this all true? She's rattling off here like a AK-47.
Like an AK-47, you know. Yeah, honestly, it's true. It's true. Literally rattling off like an AK-47 for real. Honestly, it's man. It's a it's very clear who should go home. But in my opinion, I think also Amina isn't very good at backing herself. So when she was actually trying to back herself and trying to save herself, she just sounded like she was talking to her brother or her mother. And she'd just been told off. She just seemed like a child. Like she's just not. I wonder how old she is, but she doesn't seem ready for this environment at all. Very, very, very weak and almost unprofessional in some cases. I don't know if that's a bit too strong, but either way, yeah. Let's see who went home in the end.
You should have stood up to the project. Don't talk, please. Don't talk to me.
Oh yeah, I love this clip. He's like, listen, that's how I feel. This is how I feel most of the time with most people. Like, please, just don't talk to me, please. Don't talk to me. This is how I feel most of the time.
Poor manager. So
yes, Asif, poor manager. Goodbye. Get out. Absolutely trash. One of the worst characters in this show ever, in my opinion. One of the worst ever in this show. So the right person went home, I think, and I'm looking forward to seeing the show without him because wow, useless. But long story short, yeah, next week they are going to Jersey, to the Channel Islands, where there's a 14 billion UK economy boost from the tourism in the area, which I had no idea about. I need to visit one of these islands, because I didn't know about this. But anyway, this is one of my favorite tasks. I do enjoy these kind of tasks where they have to go and buy specific items at the lowest price. So I'm looking forward to seeing this one. But based on the preview, it looks like there's going to be potentially a double firing next week, and it looks like they've been very poor with their team performances once again. But with that being said, if you've enjoyed this reaction, if you think the right person went home, if you disagree with that, let me know in the comments. If you like this, like, comment, subscribe, all of that jazz, and I look forward to seeing you in the next episode. Peace.